value. And so the problem is, Anderson is going to suggest here, is that this explanation faces several formidable objections, right?
And if you'd like to know more about these objections too, we also did cover a lot of them with Mitch Stokes. So you can go back. How to Be an Atheist was his book, and I'll include kind of just the general playlist, and you can find your individual files that you want there. So here are some of the issues. First, only conscious beings can reason, but there's no good evolutionary explanation for how physical processes alone could produce conscious minds. Minds at all.
Right.
You're just a brain, right? You have chemicals that go off. That's it. And you can kind of manipulate them yourself, but you can really manipulate them with drugs. So that's probably just the best way.
So, but that just, you can still push it back. So how do chemicals reason?
Oh, yep, there you go. Yeah.
What kind of reasoning power do chemicals have, right?
Right. We'll find it eventually. Yeah. Just have faith, trust the science. But there's another strike against the naturalist evolutionary account. Most of the organisms on this planet survive and reproduce perfectly well and far more efficiently than humans, granted, without the slightest ability to reason.
Amazing, right? Yeah. So there are organisms like, let's say, bacteria that are probably better able to survive than we are. And for all we know, they've never told us anyway.
Right.
They don't reason.
Yeah. Right? Simple cell organisms.
And so if it's about, survival, do you really need reason for survival?
Yeah.
Right? Obviously not, right? And so that's the point he's trying to make here, right? The issue here is if evolution is driven by natural selection, as Darwin's theory dictates, then evolution doesn't care a whit for what an organism believes or doesn't believe, right? It only cares about the organism's behavior so that it can survive in the particular environment. So from an evolutionary perspective, it doesn't matter whether an organism has true beliefs, false beliefs, no beliefs at all. As long as the organism can effectively preserve and pass on its genes, that's all, the evolutionary process is focused on. So evolution, he tells us, isn't truth directed, right? It's only survival directed, right?
But our faculty of reason is truth directed.
So reason is directed towards truth. That's what reasoning is all about.
Here's the problem. Yeah. The thing that we're looking at is actually the opposite of that. The very purpose of reason is to guide us towards truth. That's what we do. It doesn't guide us towards just survival. We I always use the example of the snake in the grass and you liking horror movies. You can reason that, this is the possibility of a snake in the grass, but you can also just as reason, well, I sent my dog out there, he's coming back. It's my dog. Right. So, if it's just about survival, then you should just run away from everything. And we shouldn't like horror movies at all. So what's more, humans possess many higher intellectual powers, such as the capacity to understand advanced calculus, music theory, poetry, and philosophy, and none of which confer any obvious advantage when it comes to biological survival and reproduction, the driving forces of evolution.
Now, I might take issue with philosophy, right? You may need philosophy in order to survive, but I agree with him with regard to music theory, right? I mean, it's the best singer doesn't always is the one that gets to reproduce, let's say, although sometimes, right?
It was very hard to be your poet or musician in Stalinism. So, the driving force of evolution is survive and don't starve your people. That's really the main survival advantage there.
So either what we come down to is kind of a dilemma here, right? Either evolution is truth directed or it's not truth directed, right? If evolution isn't truth-directed, then the naturalist has no basis for assuming that his intellectual faculties can be trusted to guide him towards truth, right? In which case, he ought to doubt the truth of his own beliefs, including his belief in naturalism, right? So if it's not truth-directed, then how do you know that what you believe is indeed the truth? Well, you can't. Right? That's the point here, right? So you can't even know that naturalism is true. Right? But if evolution is somehow truth-directed, well, then we have to wonder why most people today are religious, he tells us, right?
Yeah. And again, this is my thing with Dawkins and the like, the God delusion. Well, at one point in time, religion conveyed survival advantage to the species. Well, it goes to follow that it still conveys that survival aspect, right? So Dawkins is trying to kill humanity by writing his books, and we should stop him at any cost. He's trying to take down our society and our species. We're here.
Yeah.
And
so the issue is, why has evolution tended to favor beliefs which, according to naturalists, are so radically out of step, right, with what reality is all about, right? And yet, so that's the kind of the conundrum we might say that evolutionists find themselves in. Right. If it's not truth directed, then why should they believe it? If it is truth directed, Anderson says, well, then why do so many people believe the truth that religion is true, or believe that religion is true, right?
So in the end, the crucial question is this: which worldview gives us the most reasonable account of reason itself? One in which our reason has its source in a higher reason, or one which our reason has its source in no reason at all? Seems like he's putting us at a simple path here.
That's right. So either the source is higher reason, or the source is no reason. Right? Yeah. So you choose.
Right. So in our very ability to reason depends on God. Nothing could be more contrary to reason than denying God. So why should I believe Christianity? Because reason.
That's right. Because of reason. Right. Yeah. And it'd be contrary to reason not to.
Right.